everyone, my name is MJ and today I'm with Raw Magazine to give you some do's and some don'ts of makeup. If you want to figure out some ways to help boost your makeup game, stay tuned. First things first, I just want to make it clear that everyone does do their makeup differently. Everyone has different technique. On the don't side, there's a lot of things that I used to personally do while I was still learning about makeup, and it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay if you aren't perfect and that you can improve with practice, because practice is definitely important no matter what you're doing. So first thing you want to do is moisturize your face. I have already done this, but putting makeup on a dry face just makes your face makeup not sit right on your skin. The dry patches on your face stick out more, so make sure you moisturize your face. On the do side, I'm going to be using some primer. We want a longer lasting look, so we're going to use primer in the areas where makeup would usually slide. So I'm putting it on my nose, under my eyes, also on my forehead. So with foundation, I'm just going to be taking some drops of foundation that matches the color of my neck. When you match foundation to the color of your neck, it matches your whole body. I'm going to use a damp beauty blender to blend everything out. I find using damp beauty blenders is one of my favorite ways to do foundation because it adds hydration to the face and picks up excess makeup. And blend it down into the neck so that way it all blends together. I also use less foundation underneath my eye or on other areas where I'm going to be adding more concealer, because the more product you put on your skin, the cakier it's gonna look. So I like to try to avoid the cakiness. So next, I'm gonna put a shade of foundation on my face that I think matches the rest of my body. So not necessarily my neck, but like my arms and my stomach. I used to do this a lot, especially when I was younger, because I thought that was what you do. I thought you just, always matched face to your body. And I thought you just put it all over your face, and it didn't really matter. For this, I'm going to use a dry brush, and I'm just going to rub it in. Not using any really precise blending strategies. I'm just gonna kind of rub it in all over my face using a hard pressure. And this isn't good because you want your makeup to set into your face and to stay in your face, and when you rub it like this, you're kind of just pushing the product around. I'm also not blending it into my neck. I used to always do that when I started really wearing makeup, and I would have an orange line going around my chin, and people would make fun of me. I mean, at the time, I was also probably like 13 years old, so what did I really know about makeup when I was 13? And also, YouTube videos weren't really a thing, so I didn't know better. Now with concealer, I'm going to put it on the high points of my face. So I'm going to start kind of at the inner corner of my eye, go down, and make this sort of triangle, kind of where like my nose ends. And then fill it in just a little bit. Then I also put stuff on top of my eye because I have a lot of veins there, down my nose, on my cupid's bow, and my chin. Now I use a shade that is 1 to 2 shades lighter than the foundation that I wear, just so it highlights that area without making it look overdone or like I'm trying to cover up my dark circles. And then I'm going to use the beauty blender just to blend it out again. And then what I used to do was I would take any shade concealer that I thought was lighter than the foundation that I have on, and I used to just go right under the eye, right above the brow. And then in all the other areas, I would kind of put it in the same spot. Again, taking another dry brush, I used to just go for it. I used to really concentrate on putting it where my dark circle was instead of, trying to highlight my face. And I used to rub it in like back and forth, which doesn't help the fact that my under eye creases really easily. It just makes it worse. What I do for setting makeup, I just put a little bit into the top. I take this tapered brush, tap it in, tap off the excess, and then When I first put it on, I concentrate on the areas where I need the product to stay the most, which are usually the places that I had put the concealer. And then after, I take a bigger brush like this, swirl it in, top it off, and then I put it on the other areas that I have not put powder on yet. And I just kind of swirl going away from my face with very light pressure because I'm not trying to move the product, I'm trying to set it. And then I also go over the areas where I did press the powder in, that way it doesn't get really cakey. And then what I used to do with setting powder, I just kind of put my brush in like this and then rub it on my face like this. When you're rubbing on your face like this, what you're really doing is moving the product along with the powder, so then the powder and whatever you have on your face mixes together and it creates a really weird texture. Next, I contour. I use, this is the Hoola bronzer by Benefit, just the regular one, and it's a very cool tone bronzer, and that's always what you want to go for when you're contouring, because you want to create shadow. So I'm going to take a little bit of that on this flat brush. If you don't know where your cheekbones are, a good thing to do is kind of just press into your face around your cheek with your brush, and then see you have like a little round area where your cheekbone is, and you want to go under and concentrate it in the back and move it forward as you go. Always stop back where the center of your eye is. So right here's the center of my eye, so that should be the last point on my face that contour is. And then I also put some on my forehead. Make sure to blend it into the hairline and mostly on the outer part of your forehead, not too much in. For my nose, I use this little blending brush. I kind of did the same thing I did with my forehead, except I look to where there's kind of like this natural darker area, and I use very, very light pressure. I go down first and then around to blend it all together. And for under my nose, I kind of concentrate on like this little V area. Really brings up the nose and makes it look shorter. Now what I used to do was I actually used a baked bronzer. So baked bronzer looks like this, and I used to take a blush brush like this that was angled and just put a bunch on there and then put it where I thought my cheekbones were. And I didn't really pay attention to how far I brought it into my face. And then I would use the same brush and just go ham also on my forehead. And I never really started contouring my nose until I got into high school. When I did first start contouring my nose, I used a flat brush like this. Don't ask me why. And I would take a warm colored bronzer like this, and I would just go up and down the side of my nose like this until it was blended, at least what I thought was blended. I also brought it down right here on my nose, which just really isn't flattering. And then if I thought I put too much on, I would take a shade that I thought was kind of like my skin color, take it on my finger and rub it in. Now with highlight, I'm going to use this smaller brush and some highlight shades that are more towards my skin tone to make it look like I'm glowing from within. I bring it up a little bit towards the tail of my brow, tip of my nose, cupid's bow, and then a little bit above the brow. Now what I used to do with highlight, oh my goodness. I made a lot of makeup mistakes before I started getting really good at it, so don't ever be upset or ashamed at how you used to do your makeup. Just be proud that you have moved forward and you're doing better and you've learned more, because everything in life is just about learning and experience. You're never going to be perfect at it if you don't practice. I used to take a stippling brush like this and this super shimmer loose powder stuff, and I would swirl it around, and the only place I put it was on top of my cheeks. super crazy bronzer that I put on, and I used to put it like kind of angled to where it hit just underneath my eye. Also, for the sake of this look, I'm going to be putting highlight on the inner corner just to open up the eye a little bit, and contour my eyelid. So I'm going to put a bit of the bronzer that I used for contour on the dew side in there. And then with blush, I'm going to take on the dew side, it's like a nude pink. I prefer with blush using a stippling brush like this, and then I swirl it a couple times, pat it off. I concentrate it more towards the back and bring it in slowly towards the apples of my cheeks. Now when I did wear blush and I wasn't wearing this crazy contour thing, I used a regular blush brush, so an angled brush, kind of like what I used to do this crazy contour, and I would pick a really bright color, this one. And I grew up dancing, so I thought kind of stage makeup mixed with my everyday makeup was the go-to. So I would take this really bright blush and really only put it on the apple of my cheek. So with my brows, I absolutely love this slanted angled brush. I'm going to be using some pomade, so I brush up in the front about to where the arch of my brow starts, and then from there I brush over. And I like to start at the tail because how your brows naturally are is they're kind of more feathered towards the front and then fill in as they go along. I like to do the bottom first, and then I go in towards the top. Start feathering a little bit more and kind of very little bit, very front, and use a light hand and flick it up. Then I use the swirly side again and brush my brow just so I make sure it's exactly how I want to look before I set it. Then I like to take some eyebrow gel and then brush it just how I did with the spoolie to set everything. Okay, I used to not use pomade when doing my brows. Just for the sake of easiness, I'm going to use the pomade again. So this time, I'm just going to kind of leave my brows of just pomade, and I'm going to start back. And then after that, I do the same with the top. I used to try to make my brow very sharp at the arch point. This is a don't because it looks very unnatural. So on the do side, start at the wing where the top and bottom lid meet, and then go towards where this angle brow is and pull it in to meet. Everybody makes mistakes. If you do, just put some concealer on that brush. The thinnest part of my eyeliner is definitely going to be in the inner corner. And then once I get that set, I'm going to go towards the inner corner. And then on the don't side, go up to the tail of the brow. Just kind of pick a point where I want to start and curve it down. Also going to make it very thick and also carry that thickness to the inner corner. So for this side, I used very heavy pressure. A very curved wing is just really thick and doesn't really complement the eye. For mascara, I'm going to kind of go back and forth just because on the do side, I like to take breaks in between putting on coats so that way it doesn't get super clumpy. I kind of just like to do a couple coats. I'll do one at a time. Now a don't with mascara is just pile a bunch of layers on at once. Just makes the mascara very clumpy. Okay, then I'm going to go back onto the do side. Add another coat. Usually I do between 2 to 3 coats depending on how the first and second coat go. And I also like to go inside. I'll look down, kind of brush inside my lashes. It gives them a little bit extra length. For bottom lashes on the do side, I kind of do almost the same thing that I do for the top. On this side, I'm just gonna go ham. And I never really cared if I got it on my lower lash line. So I'm gonna take this brown nude liner and draw just slightly over where my lips actually are. And then I just add a little bit on the inside. A mistake that I have done is just straight up going for the overline with the lipstick, and then I mess up, so then I have to make it bigger. do side, I just put some on my actual lip. I'll rub it together a little bit. So overall, these were my do's and don'ts of makeup that I have learned throughout the years. I have been wearing makeup since I was about 12 and I'm 20 now, so I've had a lot of years of practice. If you're struggling and you keep doing the don'ts, just try to remember the do's and keep practicing, because practice really does make perfect. So I hope you all enjoyed the rest of your day and enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more videos from Raw Magazine. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you next time.